First of all, thanks for the opportunity on speaking on this. Minister, I remember going into Galway County Council in 2014 when what they call the Equalisation Fund. Galway used to get, I think, something like 12 million, the County Council. And the property tax came in that year and 14.5 million was collected through the county. And Galway County Council got their 12 million. 2.5 million went back to the Exchequer, and the Equalisation Fund to the 12 million went off to Angela Merkel to bail out the banks, or to pay for the bailing out of the banks. That's what the property tax meant to the people in that county. 12 million in that county was taken from ordinary individuals. And you know, there are things that I never would have a problem with paying a tax on, but I really have a problem with a house. Because first of all, people have to start off and get a mortgage for their house. I call it like basically a bedroom tax. There's a lot of people at the moment are struggling to get a mortgage. The fees, as being brought up earlier, is a major problem. And you know, I've heard some people saying about city and county. There are people, and especially pensioners, we must think of them tonight, that may have a house within a large city, the likes of Dublin or Galway or wherever, that was inherited down through the years, that are living on the old age pension. And those people, it's their home. It isn't that it's a big asset to them. They're going to hand it on to somebody else, and they're going to pay through the nose and probably not be able to afford what's there. When a person is building a house today, you know, there's the fees that is to go to the council, and be it in the cities or the rural areas, there's huge fees going in for supposed to be community services or whatever, and footpaths and all this. I can tell you in the rural areas, the community just have to do it itself. We've no footpaths to stand out in or no street lighting to go out in, even though the fees are looked for. And then anywhere there's Irish water, thank God we have some local group water schemes or co-ops all the time in rural Ireland, for the simple reason the likes of Irish water now is probably 2,500 of a fee to join up to. And now I see in this new thing, the new legislation that you're talking about bringing in, that basically you're bringing in a bigger area. You must remember that in farming areas that there are sheds at the backs of houses that they may have their fuel in for the winter. There is sheds used for cattle. They might have built a shed for a car. And there's a genuine worry as to where we're going in all of this and what's the reasoning. You must bear in mind that, you know, you're talking about climate, and you're in the line of, I looked today at the pumps, and you brought in a tax for the carbon tax. You've risen that and are intending to rise it on a continual basis. Do you realise that someone that doesn't have the offer of a bus service, they don't have the offer in rural areas, that a litre of diesel at the moment has gone to 140, nearly the minimum, and 144 or 5. Like, what world are some people living in that they don't realise that this has gone from about €1.05, €1.10 up to 140? And yeah, world markets of oil has gone up, but have a look at the carbon tax increase. And you can say, well, we're changing things and we're doing this, that and the other. Fine, but what bus service have they? Actually, the bus services have been cut in a lot of the rural areas. And the local rural link bus that collected, especially our elderly people that might only get out one day in the week to go for their pension that they get and do a little bit of shopping and meet their friends, especially to help them for the likes of rural isolation. Damn, but they've stopped that now. There's a route now that you could have to go 3 miles to get to it. And some of these people live on their own. Some of these people don't have a car. Some of these people don't have anyone to bring them from A to B. But what we have done with the new rural link service is that it's one town after another town after another town. That's it. Whereas in fairness to the drivers in the old system, and the madness about this is that it's bigger buses they have put on, way bigger buses, and what we had before this was little 18-seaters or 16-seaters that was able to go up the boreheens, that was able to turn at the gates, and that was able to help those people in rural isolation, and was able to help them basically to go out for a day, enjoy themselves, because they might only see one person all week if they did get a letter, and that's the postman. And I just cannot fathom the mentality we're going through or what we're doing. Just think of those elderly people, be it in the city or be it in the countryside. The value of their house might have gone up to them, but that's not worth a damn to them because they're living in their house. It's not about the house. That's where they live. They're going to hand that on like it was given to them. But their income is still modest in a lot of cases. Bear in mind that the PSO levy has gone up how many times? Bear in mind that electricity has gone up about 15%, or for those in cities, the gas has gone up as well. And then we talk about being a compassionate society. Then we talk about looking after our elderly. And just think of the young couples that might have a mortgage around their, basically a mortgage around their neck for 400,000, 500,000. In the likes of Dublin, you don't get too plush of a house for that, going by the prices I've seen. And still we want to try and screw more out of those people, and a lot of them can ill afford it. I just can't understand how we're, the mentality behind some of these things that comes in. And yeah, you'll say it's for X, Y, and Z, and that we're going to spend more on maybe roads or more on something else. But why do we keep trying to knock money out of some people that don't have it? Why do we keep making their life tougher? I think property tax, after most people that has mortgages, young families are struggling. Middle Ireland are struggling to keep going. And we're going to make them struggle more by bringing in more legislation to try and rise the price of what they have to pay for their house. And there doesn't seem to be a connect. There seems to be a fierce disconnect between, what's going on in this country in realism, especially in rural areas, compared with, what's done in here. And I would ask you, Minister, to rethink this whole situation that we're going down, because we are going to leave a lot of, especially our elderly, that have given to their country. We're going to leave a lot of our elderly people, in my opinion, struggling. And I'd like clarification on, be it the garage that the car is in, be it the shed that the turf or whatever is in, timber or whatever, be it the sheds out the back, especially in the farming areas, that if you look at the older houses in rural Ireland, what you might know what it was, but a cow house, they used to call it, is about maybe 50 yards or 40 yards from the house, because that's where they used to go out at night to see was the cow calving. And they'd have the hay barn, and they'd have the different things. And I think that needs to be clarified where we're going. And if you look at the whole system, be it in planning for those people and the expenses that's incurred, and for the people in the cities as well, because I'm not going to just say put one against the other. This affects somebody, in my opinion, within the city very much as well, because while the value of the property might go up, for speculators, for people that are renting out or whatever their houses, the landlords or whatever, the value might be going up on their property. But for the person that wants to live in it, whether it's a 1-bedroom or a 3-bedroom or a 10-bedroom for that matter, that's their their house, that's their home, that's their family. That's where they came from, that's what they intend to hand on. And I just, for the life of me, cannot understand that we're going to put those people under more pressure.